Hey guys, it's Misty. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is a little bit of a different video for me today. This is pretty much all Copic coloring and a little bit of colored pencils too, but I didn't do anything else to this card. So instead of just not doing a video, I decided just to throw a video together of me coloring this card. So I personally like watching people color. If you don't, then this probably isn't the video for you, but I do have lots of other videos that don't have just coloring in them, and I would love for you to check out those videos. But if you like Copic coloring, then stick around and see how this adorable little bunny turns out. So for the teddy bear, I'm going to use W0, W1, W3, and W5. And I always start out with my darkest color and work my way down to the lightest color. So that was the W5. I just went and put where I thought shadows would be, and then I'm going to blend that out with the W3 and work my way down. So after I get all of my colors on, then I'll go back, and I believe I started with the darkest color again, and just do my flicks so it looks like the teddy bear has fur. Alright, instead of talking my way through this video, I think I'm just going to put on some music, and I'll see you back in a few. So let me just jump in here and tell you about this really cool technique that I did on the blanket. I took some isopropyl alcohol. I happen to have 91% alcohol, and the higher the percentage, the better for this technique. It's like having, well, you could use your colorless blender to do this as well, but the isopropyl alcohol is a little bit cheaper. So anyway, I just took a washcloth and I kind of roughed up the washcloth a little bit so that all the little fibers or threads or I don't know what the right word is, but so that they were all kind of standing up. And I dipped it in the alcohol and then I rubbed it across the back of my hand just so that the washcloth wasn't soaked with the alcohol. And then once it was just, kind of damp, I took it and I pressed it onto the blanket and I held it there for a second. And then I did that all across the blanket. Now I did it pretty lightly. I was so nervous to mess up the rest of the card, but if I were to do this technique again, I would definitely hold it on the blanket a little bit longer just to get a little bit more of that texture to show up. So I thought it was a really cool technique. I remember hearing about this with the colorless blender, a long time ago, and I completely forgot about it. So I was really excited to try this on this blanket, but I think it looks really cool. All right, now I'm just moving on to the plaid on the pillows and the blanket. I love the stripes too. I almost left it at just the stripes. I really like the way that looked, but the green kind of ties in the blanket. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my own stripes. And then unfortunately for the blanket or for the pillow here, this little pillow, my head was in most of the footage here. So that's if you've watched any of my videos, my head is usually always in the shots. I don't know why I can't seem to get my head pulled back a little bit. I need like a big stopper in front of my camera so my head can't go forward. But you know what I need? Oh my God. Okay, I have a brilliant idea here. Have you ever seen in garages where some people have a tennis ball hanging down so that when they pull in and the tennis ball hits their windshield, they know that they've pulled in far enough so that their garage door will close? I need one of those hanging over my craft desk in front of my camera so that way when my head hits it, I know my head can't go forward anymore. Yes, I'm going to have to talk to my husband about that one. That might work. Might look kind of funky, but it just might work. I'll let you know how that goes. Most likely, he'll shake his head and walk out of the room, but we'll see. Anyway, so I had to cut out the whole, the whole texturing or drawing the pattern on this pillow, but it was really easy to do. So after I got all the colors on, I took one of the lightest markers. I believe I took RV06, and I just drew vertical lines on the pillow and spaced them out a little bit. And between those lines, I drew like a herringbone pattern. So I had diagonal lines going one way, and then the next row had them going the opposite way. And then I just rounded those shapes in between the vertical lines. So instead of it looking, like a rectangle, I just rounded it so it looked more like an oval. Each one of those little herringbone shapes, I made them look more like an oval. And then I went over it with the darker colors, and anyway, that's how I did that pillow. So after I did the one side of the wall, I realized that I wanted the bigger wall to kind of be lighter where the bunny was going to be. So I held off on coloring the other wall until I had my bunny colored and cut out. So I'm going to color part of him with Copic markers, and then I'm going to color his fur with Prisma colored pencils. So I'm just doing the same shading, same colors that I did on the bedding on his cute little shirt here. And then I'm going to color the stripes on his shirt to match the colors in the on the bedding on the pillow. Just think this little bunny is so adorable. I thought he was just perfect for this night scene. All right. I don't have anything else to say, so I'm going to put on another song and I'll check back in a minute. Alright, now I'm getting all my elements together here. Let me tell you what I learned while coloring this little fella here. So where I went wrong was I was going to Copic color him, so I started out on the Copic Express It blending card. Let me tell you really quick here. So after I fussy cut him out, there was still some white showing. So I just took my darkest pencil and just flicked out the color, to make it look like fur there. So to cover up that white part. So anyway, so I was going to Copic color it, started on the Expressive blending card. And if you've ever used that paper, it's pretty smooth paper. So it works great for Copic markers, but once I started adding the colored pencils, Prismacolor pencils are wax-based, so once I started layering colors, it got to the point where I just couldn't add any more colors. It just got too waxy, and when I got to that lightest color there, I couldn't add any more color. So I ended up coloring the whole thing over again on some Neenah Solar White cardstock. Just because I just didn't like how it was turning out. So after I got all my colors laid down, I went back with the darkest pencil and did the same thing as I did with the teddy bear. I just started flicking some color in to make it look like it was fur. So anyway, if you're gonna mix different mediums like that, try to think ahead and what kind of paper you should use, or what kind of paper would be best for the mediums that you're using. So okay, so for this floor was really cool. I've never done this before. So I took my lightest color, which was the E31, and I just did some squiggly lines, really thin squiggly lines. It was really easy because, hardwood floors, there's no right way to do it. So I just kind of made my lines. I made some knots in there, or what I thought looked like knots. And then I jumped to the darkest color, which was E37, and I just shaded on the left side of those lines that I made. So I went over each of them with the E37, and then I went to the E35 just on the left side, did the same thing with E33, and then I went over the whole thing with the E31 again. So what was left was just some really small areas for the highlight, which was the lightest color, the E31. And I think it looks really cool. When I got to the lightest color, there was some areas that I thought the highlight was too large, so I just went back with the darker colors and kind of drew in some more like wood grain lines there. So don't mind my big head. I left it in on purpose because I just didn't want to cut out any of this flooring, so you can see how I did it. So yes, my head's in the shot, and yes, I need to get my hair colored, so just don't even pay attention to that part. All right, now to finish off the flooring, I took the E29 and I just went in to define each of the planks, the floorboard, no, not floorboards, the planks, yeah. So that's all I did with the E29. And I still had some white paper showing through the fur, so I just took a black marker and went around the edges still. All right, took a Copic multiliner here and just went over the eyes and the nose and the whiskers because I had, the wax from the colored pencils were kind of dulling it out a bit. So I did so much coloring. I really didn't do anything else to this. All I did was pop my bunny up with some foam tape, and then I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment in white embossing powder. The sentiment is from My Favorite Things, and it's called More Essential Sentiments. And that is all I did for this card. So this card was a little different. I don't usually do just coloring videos like this, so I'm just trying something different. Let me know if you like seeing Copic coloring, or if it's not really your thing. If it's not your thing, that's fine. Like I said, just trying something different, and it was either this or not have a video, because pretty much, as you can tell, that's all I did was color. So all right, that is my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the card that I made for the Simon Says Stamp Wednesday challenge. All of the supplies that I used are listed and linked in the description below, and you can always head over to my blog for more information. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, because that will help me get to know what kind of content you enjoy, and I can make more of it in the future. If you're new to my channel, please take a look around. I have lots of card tutorials. If that's something that interests you, please click that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!